sure y'all check out the Retro Philosophy Show on YouTube with my man Retro. Like, subscribe, comment, share, copy the link, put it on Instagram in your bio, put it on your Facebook page. Send it to your mama, text it to somebody. But y'all make sure y'all follow this page, Retro Philosophy.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Including Lottie Dottie, you already know what it is. It's your boy Retro. What you on today? This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Check it out, guys. It's a better day than I thought it was going to be as far as weather and sunshine, because they was talking about clouds and rain all day, and so I had to make the choice last night. I said, well, I got gear. I'm going to ride anyway. I've got to run down the road here for an assignment today. Short day today. And but I had already decided, you know what, I was just gonna thug it out and ride anyway. Because you know what we say, right? The weather doesn't dictate whether or not we ride, but the gear we wear when we ride. And so we get out here and we make it do what it do, because it is what it is and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Some things you can't change. You just got to roll with it. But anyway, as it relates to riding, everybody has their own riding style and their own riding preference, habits, et cetera, et cetera. And it is not good practice to belittle anyone or to make fun of anyone or to talk down on anyone because their style, preference, and requirements, et cetera, are different from yours. I'm a firm believer that we ought to just leave people be. Let folk live and let live. You know what I mean? I don't agree with everything that I see. I don't agree with everything that even happens around me. You know what I'm saying? But you've got to know which battles are yours to fight and which situations are yours to just simply leave the heck alone. hmm Not everything that God shows you is for you to involve yourself in. I've got a saying, I was born at night, but not last night. I ain't no fool. I be seeing just like you. You be seeing what's going on, but at the same time, you're not going to just go ahead and involve yourself with everything that pops up around you because it'll it'll keep you off course. It'll mess up your focus. Look here, man. I got scripture, man. It's the Retro Philosophy Show. Have we quoted the Bible yet? The Bible says. No, seriously, the Bible talks about Nehemiah and how Nehemiah had a task to perform. He had a job to complete. Yeah, he was on a mission, and he realized the importance of staying in alignment while on assignment. And so while they were rebuilding the wall, Tobias and the rest of them made fun of and belittled, uh, they realized that the work that they were doing, and he said this, the work that we're doing is a good work, and we cannot come down from off of the wall. Some stuff you just got to, look, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I see it. I ain't blind, you know. and but at the same time, I'm focused. At the same time, I got bigger fish to fry. I refuse to major in the minors and minor in the majors. Some people, they show up just to get you off course. They show up just to distract you. And I preached a message one time. Can I tell you what I preached? I preached a message one time. Don't let a decoy cause you to detour. Whoo! Y'all better say something to me up in here on this here morning. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Don't let a decoy cause you to detour. And a decoy, many a times, is something that's not real. And even if it is real, it comes for the purpose of just getting you off track to take your focus away from what you should be focused on. It's a decoy, you know, and you can allow decoys to make you detour from the mission, from the assignment, from the task. All right, and sometimes these problems that show up, quote unquote, these problems that show up, they really ain't problems. They're disguised as problems. At best, they might be an issue, but not a problem. Come on now. And so be careful what you lend your attention, time, energy, and focus to. Yeah. Because again, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, especially you, Lottie Dottie, you got bigger fish to fry. Yes, sir. I remember years ago, I was I was still out in them streets, young man, in my prime, woo, making it do what it do. And I had a little thing to arise, but I was so focused on what I was doing and so focused on what I was, trying to accomplish and complete and so on and so forth that I saw it, but I refused to allow it to pull me away from what I was doing, And here's the deal, guys. You can keep your eye on a thing, a person, a situation, a circumstance. You can keep your eye on it, but what you do is you use your peripheral view. Did I say that word right? Yeah. And so you never turn from what's in front of you, but off to the distance, I see it. You know. Now, if it gets any closer, then we'll have to readjust and go accordingly. Okay. That's why I say, Daddy didn't raise no punk and Mama didn't raise no fool, and I was raised by both of my parents. So, you put one and two together and come up with six, or it's seven or eight. Because we was the kind of folk that was raised. You take 15 cents and turn it into $1. Y'all know chitty chitty bang bang sitting on the fence trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Okay, all right. You can think whatever you want to think, sir. You are a prime example of what I'm talking about on today. I see you in my peripheral, but I refuse to allow you to make me lose focus. So, why do we think we have to prove something to somebody that does not believe? That doesn't make sense to me. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. And so anyway, back to the topic, ladies and gentlemen. I see it in my peripheral. Now, if it gets any closer to the point where it may present a level of concern, urgency, or even danger, then we adjust. It didn't catch us off guard. It didn't catch us by surprise because I saw it as soon as it came within my space. You understand what I'm saying? And so pay attention to these bozos, to these clowns, by all means, but don't lose focus on the task at hand. You understand what I'm saying? Nehemiah said, look at here. The work that we're doing is good work. Now, when you look at the story of Nehemiah, people will show up in your life to distract you. And what they did initially was they began to mock the work that they were doing. Because the enemy understands that the only one that can truly devalue your work is you first. And so if he can get you to doubt or no longer believe in the validity of what you're doing, the value of what you're doing, so on and so forth, then he's got you where he wants you. So that didn't faze Nehemiah nor his people. They continued to do the work, and as they were doing the work, they were doing it in record time. So the enemy came first and foremost to ridicule, to talk about, how to persevere through it. But you're not important enough for it to really register. It's just like, I don't know if you've ever been in a room and all this noise is going on, but it doesn't, you hear it, but it doesn't distract you, it doesn't deter you, you hear it, it's just background noise. And then in the midst of all that background noise, you hear a soft voice, Daddy, and immediately it grabs your attention because it's your child, it's someone who's connected to you, it's someone who you're concerned with and for, it's someone that's important to you. Listen to me. In order for someone to really offend you, you have to think enough of them. Process that for a moment. Process that for a moment. Okay? Now, check this out. Not everything that's offensive has to offend. In other words, it's my choice whether or not I take offense to a situation or whatever the case may be. That's my choice. And I refuse to relinquish the responsibility of wellness of my emotions into the hands of some irresponsible individual. Irresponsible, inconsiderate, ignorant individual. I ain't doing it, whether you buy it or not. So the reality is, what you said and what you did, and maybe even what you do, is extremely offensive. But I don't think enough of you for it to register enough on my Richter scale for my emotions to get, to go crazy or whatever the case may be. I acknowledge your ignorance and stupidity. I see it for what it is. I see the source from whence it's coming from. And I say, thank God it ain't me. And I just simply keep it moving. They used to say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Well, that's not 100% true. However, I hear the words that are coming out of your mouth, but more importantly, and this is what we miss out on, guys. We lack the level of understanding that we need in order to properly process situations. You got to understand who you are. You got to understand the mission that you're on. You got to understand who called you to the mission. You got to understand the importance of the mission, especially as we tie this back into Nehemiah, right? And therefore, nothing they said would compare to the responsibility of the work that they had to do. And so they kept on doing the work. Now, they ridiculed initially. Then later on, they tried to trick and trap. They tried to get them to come down off the wall and hang out with them. Oh, come over and, blah, blah, blah. Nah, bro, we good. We good over here. Yeah. It's just like you go to work and you're good at what you do. When you get there, you're focused, you're concentrated, and you're executing. And sometimes that intimidates coworkers. It intimidates them because you're doing a better job than them with seemingly less effort, right? And, they might try to talk about you behind your back to other coworkers so that they will, not see you in the proper light, and then that doesn't work. So now that they see that doesn't work, then they'll try to get you to come out to lunch with them and this, that, and the other, and so that they can find another way to try to get to you. But I tell my kids, I've been telling them ever since they were of working age, you don't go to work to make friends. Matter of fact, I told them that even in school. You don't go to work to make friends. You go to work to make your bread. You go to work to get that bag. Get that bag and come on back home. Later for them jokers. Now, you be cordial, be nice, you can be friendly. You can be all of those things, but they ain't your friend. They're your coworkers. Understand what's really at hand. Because when they pop off and they say this or they do this or they don't do this, now you can be feeling some kind of way because you were tricked into believing y'all were friends. And not everybody friends on the same level. Y'all better hear me good. Yeah. Not everybody be friending on the same level. Uh-huh. See, you expect you from them, and you'll never get you from them because they ain't you. I tell folks in a heartbeat, we come from a different cloth. We ain't the same. I'm from the streets, you for the streets. There's a difference. We ain't the same. Come on now, you better understand, and you better want to know it. And so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't get on here to talk about the streets or the streets. But I did hop on here to let you know that you've got to stay focused in this season. Now here's where it gets tricky and sometimes difficult. The things that get your attention are things you enjoy, things you like, things you want to do. And sometimes it's hard to resist what you want to do. It's hard to resist what you enjoy. But again, I told my kids growing up, you do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. And I mean that from a longevity standpoint. In other words, I want to go to the party, but I need to get some rest so I can get up and go to work so that way I can pay my bills and so on and so forth. And, you understand the point that I'm making. Some stuff we want to do ain't what we need to do. So do what you gotta do so you can do what you really want to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, let's talk about Nifty 50, Retro's Nifty 50/50 Classic Adventure. Yeah, Retro's Nifty 50/50 Classic Adventure. It's actually 350s. I'll be 50 years old on a 50-year-old motorcycle on US Route 50, riding it end to end. Got a 1975 Gold Wing, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to start showing you some footage of the rebuild as we recondition this classic, antique, vintage, old school, throwback motorcycle. All right, getting it ready for the trip of a lifetime, a classic ride to remember. All right, you know what? I've got to put the link here on my YouTube channel. It is on my Facebook page. I meant to do it the other day and go figure, sidetracked. So much going on right now, man. I'm extremely busy, being pulled from many different directions. It's all good. That is not a complaint. It's just a a very honest observation, and but everything is gonna be all right. So anyway, I got sidetracked and I didn't get a chance to put the link on my YouTube channel. I'll do that today if I remember. Oh, dang it. Another thing I forgot. Just remember that I forgot what I was supposed to remember and forgot it again. Ah, boy, I tell you. It happens when you get older. But anyway, we'll be sharing more footage of that. Again, 1975 Gold Wing. Here's the funny thing, guys. Some of you guys may know this, but for those of you just tuning in, new to the channel, first of all, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. But I did share, I think it was a couple shorts. I didn't do a real long video or anything. I did a few shorts, a couple reels of me hopping on this 2013 Goldwing F6B, and I rode it all the way up to Maryland, right outside of the Wardorf area of Maryland, and picked up the 1975 Goldwing and towed it back with this Goldwing. A sight to see. Yeah, it was a sight to see. It was an adventure. I caught a flat on my way up there. I think I was in Richmond when I got a flat on the bike, but it wasn't anything major. It was just a valve stem was compromised, so we had to replace. I was able using my portable air pump. Let me see if that can knock me out, guys. Bear with me 1 second. You know what? I can do it this way, I believe. Bada boom, but I should probably pull over and do this. Let's see. I'll do that there. That's not what I want. Bada boom, bada bang. I'll do that there, and then I'll do this here, and then I'll do this here. Okay, we're still good. I had a phone call come in, and sometimes it'll knock the audio all out. But anyway, guys, caught the flat tire, was able to fill it up with my portable pump. These are the things that you should go on your motorcycle if you're, well, I was going to say if you're a ground pounder, but that term is so overused nowadays. But if you are a motorcycle rider, period, you don't even have to be a quote-unquote so-called ground pounder. But if you are a motorcycle rider, man, you should have the essentials on your motorcycle beyond just gear, but tools as well. So I have my old trusty pump in there, and mine is actually a rechargeable one, so I charge, and it holds a charge for a long time. Anyway, I was able to pump up the front tire, and it got me a few miles down the road. Thank God I was only about 10 miles, so about 2 issues. And then they proceeded to charge almost $200 to replace. Yeah, they sure did. I was on the road. I had no choice. It was that or stay there with a flat tire, right? So I forked over the shillings as I grit my teeth and swallowed intensely and paid the bill. It is what it is. Anyway, I proceeded to go on and get to the gentleman's house who I was buying the 1975 Goldwing from, and Now here's the deal. I've got a 1975 Kawasaki, which was the bike that I bought initially. I said, okay, it was very cheap. So I said, well, I'll buy it and I'll ride it across country because I was, planning to go across country, and I wanted to do it on a, 1975 because that's my birth year. However, that 100, if you're looking for a KZ400, I got one real cheap. Let me know. The motor's locked up on it, and brother, I was talking to, he's like, man, you can fix it, man. You can do this, you can do that, and yeah, I can. But when I seen the Gold Wing, I said, you know what, that's a better option to go cross country. I'll have a little bit more power on the Gold. It's got a couple saddlebags that are extremely small. Uh, and I had acquired this Gold Wing here, the FS60, and I was all gung ho with. I was really getting ready to leave Harley alone until Highway J changed my mind. We'll talk about that in another. So instead of being done with Harley Davidson, I've actually decided to fix my Road Glide. So I'm going to be dropping it off to Big Swins V Twins in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And again, we'll talk about that later as well. Let's stick to the script. So I saw the Gold Wing 1975. I said, ooh, perfect. Kind of like the look to it. It was kind of cool and ugly at the same time. So I, reached out to the brother, and we struck a deal. And I said, I'll come get it. He thought I was crazy. He didn't think I was coming because it was like a 7-hour ride to get there. And so when I showed up, on the trailer behind me, he was looking at me like, you have got to be crazy. And I said, yes, a little bit. And I made the trailer the night before I left. True story, no cap. I was like, ooh, that'd be kind of wild. And so that's what I did, man. I put the little trailer together. I had already had the axle from a camper that I had from a little motorcycle trailer, and so I took the axle and everything and a few other not so much tools but supplies. And a couple hours later, I had a motorcycle hauler and hooked it up to the Gold Wing. And what I did was I put the Kawasaki on it. Right, I made it based on the measurements of the Kawasaki. I figure, 1975 Gold Wing, 1975 Kawasaki, same era. They'll be roughly around the same length, give or take, right? Nah, not really. So I finished the trailer, put the Kawasaki on it, and do a test ride with it around town. It's pulling fine, fed on it really good, and I said, okay, cool. Next morning, I get up, hook up the trailer, and I take off. Get to Maryland, guys, and I see the Gold Wing, and the Gold Wing is much bigger than it looked in the pictures. Much heavier too. And we wrestled it up on that trailer, and it literally it barely fit. I mean to tell you, an inch smaller. If that trailer was an inch smaller, it would have been a problem. To ride 7 hours, and oh man, I would have been so disappointed. But it fed on there, man, and so that was the story of me picking up the Gold Wing with the Gold Wing and hauling it back to North Carolina. Um, and so now the Gold Wing, it has some major carburation issues. The carburetor is, oh my goodness, it was filthy. So I went to cleaning on it the other day, and I'm still going to put it in the shop because my cleaning job is no ways near good enough. Um, but I'm gonna tinker around with it for a little bit before I drop it off and have my guy go through it to make sure she's roadworthy, and that'll be the story. Okay. So long story short, like I said, Retro's Nifty 50/50 Classic Adventure. It is a ride that is sponsored by Mission 448. And when I say it's sponsored by Mission 448, what I should say is it's a Mission 448 ride, or at least it will be. Mission 448 is a movement that we initiated a few years ago, about 3 years ago, riding the four corners of every state. So currently, you can go to our Facebook page, and I also have a link here on my YouTube page, and you can register to ride the four corners of your state. Uh, again, all of the lower 48 states are open for registration, and we've been having fun knocking them out. I don't know how long it'll take me to ride the four corners of each of the lower 48 states, but the process so far has been enjoyable. We've got a group of young ladies who have done North Carolina. They're launching out the first of the month to do not only South Carolina but Georgia as well, back to back. There's some riding young ladies, so we're looking forward to following their journey. And again, if you're interested in doing so, get at us. We'll send you the link, and you too can ride the four corners of your state. Mission 448 will reach beyond just riding the four corners of the lower 48 states. Okay, so Retro's Nifty 50/50 Classic Adventure will be a patch ride that will be listed on the site, excuse me, Mission 448 site. Okay, so if you are 50 plus and you said, man, I want to do it too, then you can get at me and you can get a patch for it. And if you're not 50 and you want to do it, you can still. We'll have different levels, different type. Uh, you know, we want to incentivize those who are 50 plus to get out and ride more, and those who have classic, vintage, antique, throwback, old school motorcycles uh, to pull them out. Don't keep them caged up in the garage. Get them out and make them do what they do, ride. And man, it's over 3,000 miles one way, guys. Over 3,000 miles. The loneliest highway is a stretch that is Route 50. I believe it's the loneliest highway. Um, highway. I want to say it stretches through Nevada or something like that. And so, and then we have some other rides that we'll be rolling out too. So make sure you guys go and check out Mission 448, man. Again, it started initially because of Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry, which I'm a part of. We put together four corners as a patch ride for the team, and we enjoyed it. We had such a good time doing that trip, or I should say, doing that ride and on that trip. Uh, Not only did we have good times, we had some issues to work through as well. It was challenging. There was a few things that popped up that were challenging, and but that's the beauty of it, man. As a team, we pulled together, we worked through it, and I really believe that as a result, we came through as a stronger team, and that's what it's all about, guys. Um, so again, it was NC Four Corners was just for Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. We had such a good time doing the ride. We decided to, hey, somebody else, because we did have someone else ride it with us. To be honest with you, that wasn't a part of our team. Um, and so while we were on the ride, we began talking about it, and that's when I said, you know what, yeah, we're gonna open this up to anybody. And so that's what we did. And after completing it, I said, you know what, why stop with just North Carolina? Right? So we came up with the idea to do it for all of the lower 48 states. Check it out, man. Not everybody um, can, nor does everybody have the desire to get on their motorcycle and ride cross country or ride the four corners of the United States. Uh, Maybe they're a beginner, maybe they're not confident enough, maybe they're just, um, hesitant or whatever the case may be. Mission 448, riding the four corners of your state, it's a perfect ride for anybody. You know, you're not leaving your home state. If something were to happen, you're still within your home state, but you can still get out there and experience, your motorcycle and the road. With the four corners, I've heard this from some serious ground pounders who have rode different states. It was more than they thought. Um, there were parts of the state that they saw that they normally probably would have never saw. So the ride is for anybody of any riding skill. The beauty about Mission 448 is it's not a race. You don't have to finish it within 24 hours or 48 hours. You can make it your own ride. If you want to take the whole week to ride the four corners of your state, we had a group come down from Tennessee to do the four corners of North Carolina. We called them the studs and stilettos because it was a couple guys and a couple girls, and the girls was all blinged out and everything. But anyway, studs and stilettos, studs and stilettos, not studs and stilettos. Um, but The reality was, man, they took 4 days to do it intentionally, because at each corner, number one, they shut down before before nightfall, and which was cool. And they enjoyed each corner where they stopped at. You know, they went out, had dinner, did some sightseeing, things of that nature. So they really made it their own ride, and so you don't have to do it the way they did it. Um, Now, when doing the four corners of your state, you can ride all interstate, or you can ride all back road, or you can mix it up. When we did North Carolina, we mixed it up. We did most interstate, but we took the opportunity to do some back roads as well, and we kind of ran out of time. I shouldn't say ran out of time, but we ran behind on time. So we had to cut down some of the back roads because it was getting dark and it was cold, and we were heading into the mountains of North Carolina, and so we had to get back on those main interstates just for the sake of timing. Um, but again, we will have a whole lot more than just the four corners. So keep your ears peeled, your eyes open. Mission 448 is a movement, guys. I'm telling you, and it's getting ready to go down. We got some serious rides coming up, man. Retro's Nifty 50/50 Classic Adventure. It's gonna be epic. And once we get done with that one, we got another big one that we'll roll out. And so yeah. So if you're a rider and you're watching this, get at your boy. You know, hashtag who got next. I'm out of here, man. I got to get in here and do what I got to do, so I can get done and get back down the road and do the other stuff that I got to do. Because your boy got a whole lot of stuff that he got to do. God is good all the time, not just when things are going good, but He's good all the time. And all the time, He is good. If you believe it, type amen in the comment section. All right? We'll holler at y'all next go round, man. It's your boy